Hi friends, Mr. Shimchick here. In this video I'm going to talk about a kindergarten standard, which is counting by ones and counting by tens to 100. So a tool that we use in school is the 100 chart. And teachers use this for keeping track of the number of days that we've been in school, as one way of counting, using the hundreds chart to count. So, it's really important that from early on students make the connection between the counting numbers and seeing the numbers. So, a very simple way to just utilize the hundreds chart to count with your child, because the standard is to be able to count from 1 to 100, and really by rote, not necessarily having a strong sense in kindergarten about the value of these numbers, but simply paying attention to the counting sequence, knowing when the numbers change at the end to the next tens number, and really seeing that pattern that emerges. So you just want to utilize, the hundreds chart to begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. The numbers that are very interesting to me, and I think a challenge to kindergartners, is this row. Because in our word names, there's nothing really that helps the child understand the value of the numbers. So the word 11, 12, 13. 13 is really challenging because we hear the 3 sound first, and yet the 3 comes after the 1. 14, we don't hear, it's not 4, 1, it's 1, 4. 15, 16, 17. So a good way to do that, 11 and 12 are their own kind of bizarre word names. But once you get to the teen numbers, the idea that it's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. After that, a very dependable and predictable pattern emerges. 40, 41, 42. We get to 70, 71, 72. And of course, you always hear the kids, when they get to 79, 80. And it's really very cute to listen to them talk all the way up to 100. Another thing that we do with the hundreds chart is to be able to, the standard is to be able to, as you move through kindergarten, it wouldn't be an expectation at the beginning of the year, but would be to be able to start from any number and count on from there. So the most important numbers in kindergarten are the first 20 in terms of really being able to count on from that number. So beginning with the number 6, knowing that it's 7, 8, 9, 10. Beginning with the number 14, knowing that it's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So knowing how to count from 1 to 100, but then also knowing how to count on from any number, but especially being able to count on within the first 20 is a great standard. The other thing to do with the hundreds chart, of course, is to count by tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Great to show word names for that as well, so that children realize that these, we get sloppy with our speech sometimes, and it sounds like we're saying 20 or 30, and like a dy ending instead of a ty ending. And so when they see that ty and they hear that ty, they identify it as being a tens number. We do a lot of work with towers of 10. So on the hundreds chart, I like to show the towers of 10. So for example, being able to say, okay, that's 10. That's 10 cubes there. And we might have to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to prove that it's 10. But by stacking the cubes in these rows like this, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So another powerful understanding, it's kind of beyond the expectation of kindergarten, but beginning to develop that idea that if I have 10 groups of 10 or 10 tens, I have 100, and we just celebrated the 100th day of school, and I encourage the K2 staff to really also call it 10 Tens Day, because the understanding that 10 is the basis of our number system. 10 ones, of course, makes it 10, but 10 tens makes 100, and 10 hundreds makes 1,000, etc. When children are in 4th grade, we begin to talk about 10 tenths equaling 1 whole, or 10 hundredths equaling a tenth, and 10 thousandths equaling 100th. So as much as we can begin to develop that profound understanding of how a base 10 system works, the better off we are as we go down through and up through the grades. So this is just some strategies again for kindergarten, counting by ones and by tens from 1 to 100.